Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 18 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather because Jefferson is feeling a whole lot like autumn out there temperature-wise.
Yeah.
But that precipitation has been kind of on and off.
That's right.
Kind of almost all autumny, but
That's right.
I'm glad it's going by the wayside.
Yeah, I would say that the convective nature of the precipitation maybe not something that we are totally accustomed to by the time we get to this time of year, though. Now, here's what I will say. As we take a look at the weather headlines today, today is going to be a primarily calm day of weather. Now, there might be a few isolated bubble up thunderstorms here and there. We can't totally rule those out, but in general, today is going to be a pretty nice day overall if you want to get outside and enjoy yourself. As we go into tomorrow, that is going to be a different story as we are going to be looking at increased activity on Thursday, numerous showers and thunderstorms around the forecast area on Thursday in a very similar fashion to what we did experience on Monday evening. By the time we get to Friday, however, we are going to see calmer weather back to our region. We'll talk more about all three of these weather headlines in more depth coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in the Tri-Cities. 5 children are now safe after Richland police say they were kidnapped from their home Monday afternoon. According to officers, it happened at around 4:30 off Keene Road in Queensgate Drive when a man broke into a woman's home armed with a baseball bat. Police say he kidnapped 4 of his own children that he didn't have custody of and another child unrelated to him.
So this was a domestic violence related situation, and we really want to get that cycle of violence stopped before it rises to this level where baseball bats are being taken to people and assaults are happening and kids are taken.
Now, the kids were found inside the man's truck at his workplace a short time later, unharmed. Officers were preparing to issue an Amber Alert, but the children were found safe before it was issued. And also in Richland, we're learning more about a serious crash that critically injured a Tri-City Dust Devils player. 22-year-old Rio Foster was one of 4 people in the vehicle when it crashed at around 2 in the morning this past Friday in Richland. Foster was thrown from the car, and according to a GoFundMe post trying to raise money for his medical bills, he remains in critical condition. The driver of the car, a 23-year-old, has been released from the hospital and is facing vehicular assault charges. The Yakima police officers who were placed on administrative leave because of the officer-involved shooting in early August are now back in the field. The 14 officers, which included Police Chief Sean Boyle, were placed on administrative leave after the shooting while the department conducted an administrative review to ensure that department policies were being followed. The status of the review is not yet public, and there's also a separate investigation by the Yakima Valley Special Investigations Unit that is also not yet complete. Leaders with the Yakima County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue Team are looking to make some changes because of a high number of false SOS calls. KIMA's Aiden Connor tells us what warrants one of those calls.
The Search and Rescue Team at the Yakima Sheriff's Department urges people in the area to only call for a search and rescue emergency if you need immediate assistance.
If you have called 911 or your phone has called 911 on your behalf, then you need to stay on the line or go back to that message and cancel it and say that you are not lost so that resources can be canceled and that SAR personnel aren't in the wilderness in the middle of the night looking for somebody that isn't actually lost.
No matter the severity, the Search and Rescue Team is obligated to respond to any SOS call.
And we have a legal obligation to go look for these people. And if they don't know they're lost and we don't have contact information, then we're kind of out there for a long time looking for somebody that they don't know they're lost, we don't know where they are. It's a little bit confusing.
The obligation to respond to false calls comes with significant waste in time and resources that the team can't get back.
But it is a little bit discouraging to have used our resources and our manpower and we don't have enough information to know what we need to know. That's pretty frustrating because we really love to rescue people.
The team has found that many false SOS callers off State Highway 410 find themselves at a local lodge after making a call.
Or we find them at Whistling Jack's. A lot of them, 2/3 of them end up at Whistling Jack's. So we drive up to Whistling Jack's and ask the lovely waitresses up there if they've seen this or that party. And luckily they have. And so we can know for certain that they aren't lost.
As a predominantly volunteer-based department, the Search and Rescue Team is very passionate about the safety of the local community and respond to rescue missions on their own time.
I think in the last month we spent over 157 man-hours and 600 vehicle miles looking for people that didn't know they were lost and weren't lost. So it's a lot of resources wasted.
While the Search and Rescue Team is eager to assist in making sure that locals are safe, their time and resources must be utilized properly to operate efficiently. Reporting for Action News, I'm Aiden Connor.
KIMA's Aiden Connor, thank you. And we have more information on how and when to contact the search and rescue team over on our website, KIMATV.com. Sunnyside City Manager Mike Gonzalez is now out of a job. City Council members voted to fire Gonzalez without cause at Monday night's meeting, which follows a 3-month investigation. Several people spoke at the meeting showing support for Gonzalez, saying he cared deeply about the community and understood the city's infrastructure issues and economic challenges.
Mayor, finding a good city manager is not an easy task. Therefore, I ask that you consider this community in your decision tonight. But because it's budget time, and the longer you go without a manager, the less chances that you will have to prepare next year's budget.
Now, others expressed frustration over how the situation was handled.
I'm going to say shame on you guys for wasting our tax dollars on this, what you're doing. You spent money on 2 city managers, on 1 investigation, and all this other wasted stuff. This is not the way to run the city. You should be watching our purse strings like you watch your own.
Mayor Dean Broersma said the investigation found Gonzalez's claims of harassment were not sustained and raised concerns about his management, including improper hiring and failure to discipline employees. Gonzalez will receive severance pay if he signs a release agreement officially ending his role in Sunnyside that began in July of last year. The town of Natchez is facing a big decision: pay more to keep its library or risk losing it altogether. As one town loses its branch, another community is rallying to save theirs. KIMA's Anissa Williams reports on what's at stake.
Natchez has been paying $20,000 a year to Yakima Valley Libraries since 1985. But in 2023, YVL spent over $180,000 on costs to keep the branch open, a gap they can no longer afford to cover. The new proposed cost for the town is just over $55,000 annually, increasing each year by 1%. And that comes with 3 choices for how the library might operate or shut down.
There wasn't really a decision that was made last night. The city had a due date for a proposal to Yakima Valley Regional Libraries, so YVL. The due date was September 11th. But my understanding is that it's not possible to meet that deadline now that the citizens are involved. They've been in communications at least since May, but most of the community just found out about it last week.
Adding to the challenge, the current library is inside a historic building that lacks ADA access and public restrooms. Any renovation would be costly.
I just want us all to work together. We're all on the same team. YVL does not want to close the library, but fiscally it doesn't make sense. It's not possible for them to pay nearly $200,000 to keep it open.
YVL has closed the Tieton branch after the city couldn't meet the new financial terms. With few other libraries nearby, many Natchez residents are worried.
There is a lot of kids in Natchez who utilize the library because where else are they gonna go? But if it's too cold, too hot, too smoky, what else is there? Do we need to get out of the house, go stir crazy? We can go to the library.
Residents are now researching grant funding and considering forming a Friends of the Library group to support operations outside of city funding. Reporting for Action News, I'm Anissa Williams.
KIMA's Anissa Williams, thank you. The wildcat fire continues to burn and is now 8% contained. It's been burning since August 25th and was started by lightning. It's burned nearly 7,900 acres near Goose Prairie and Bumping Lake. Fire leaders say their focus is to protect key structures and remove any fuels that could help continue the fire's growth. A level 2 evacuation remains in place for Goose Prairie and Bumping River Road. And Jefferson, that fire is just in the top 5 largest fires in our area, meaning there's 4 other fires that are bigger than that one, producing a lot of smoke, but we haven't seen a whole lot of haze in our area over the last couple of days with this rain system.
Yeah, well, not as much haze and smoke as last week for sure, and I believe that is going to continue. There may be some haze in our skies, but we're not looking at the terribly dense smoke that we did see at times last week. Now, part of the reason why, or I should say some good news when it does come to fires, fires. Last week we were still talking about temperatures in the 90s and 100s. This week we have been primarily sitting in the 80s, and today will be no different. High temperatures in the Tri-Cities will reach the mid-80s today. Look for mid-80s for the Yakima Valley, low to mid-80s today in the Kittitas Valley, with low 80s today for the Blue Mountain foothills. A vast majority of us will be looking at passing clouds and sunshine today. We cannot totally rule out a bubble-up thunderstorm here and there, but again, that's not going to be a big concern for a vast majority of us. Now, today is a big day in our viewing area. There are a couple of events getting going today in Othello. The Othello Fair does get going today. If you're going out to the Othello Fair, we will be looking at high temperatures today in the low 80s, still looking at upper 60s by your 9 p.m. hour tonight. And then the Pendleton Roundup also gets going today. Now, for the Pendleton Roundup, I am a bit concerned, especially as we get towards your 8 p.m. hour, your later evening hours. That's when shower and thunderstorm chances will really start ramping up around our forecast area. So let's take a look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast. Again, through today, not terribly concerned about showers or thunderstorms. There are some models that I'm not showing that do suggest a bit more activity today, so I'm not totally ruling out a bubble-up thunderstorm here and there. But again, a vast majority of us will be looking at a pretty pleasant day of weather. It is as we go towards your late evening and overnight hours where thunderstorms really make a big-time resurgence around our viewing area, especially from the Tri-Cities eastward. For Yakima County and Kittitas County overnight tonight, we might be experiencing a few thunderstorms here and there, but certainly not as much as for the Tri-Cities and points eastward. Going into tomorrow morning, still faced with numerous showers and thunderstorms around the entirety of the inland northwest that will continue through Thursday afternoon. Now, by Thursday evening, much of the activity does exit our region, but by Friday morning, we still may hold on to a few lingering showers for the Tri-Cities and points eastward, but that activity is not going to be as big a risk as we do see for tomorrow. Now let's talk about the haze and smoke. We talked about that at the start of this weather segment, that there are a number of wildfires burning in the Pacific Northwest, a number of large wildfires. And you can see as we look at the haze and smoke forecast, we are still going to be dealing with some of those hazy, smoky skies. The smoke not as dense as we did face at times last week, but still, we're not going to see crystal clear blue skies even in periods of clearing. Now let's talk about temperatures going forward. For tomorrow, we will see high temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to the mid 80s. Look for low 80s for everyone on Friday, with low to mid 80s as we head into Saturday. Right now, I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. The U.S. Department of Energy is responding to growing concerns over the future of the Hanford Waste Treatment Plant, also known as the vitrification plant, after a top DOE leader reportedly resigned. Roger Jarrell, who had served as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Environmental Management since April, has left his post. A Politico report cites an anonymous source claiming Jarrell was fired and that Energy Secretary Chris Wright wants to go in a, quote, different direction with Hanford cleanup. That sparked fears the plant could shut down altogether. In response, Wright said, quote, contrary to news reports, the Department of Energy has made no changes to its longstanding commitment to environmental cleanup of the Hanford site. The vitrification plant is in its final testing phase and is scheduled to begin operations later this year after more than 2 decades of construction. Washington lawmakers quick to react, though, with Senator Patty Murray, I should say, saying, quote, we are so close to turning nuclear waste into glass at Hanford, with the waste treatment plant literally slated for hot commissioning next month. I will not stand by and let the Trump administration kneecap the Hanford cleanup mission. Meanwhile, Congressman Dan Newhouse also responded, saying, quote, Hanford and the cleanup mission remain a top priority, and I will continue working to ensure they are able to execute it with ample resources and support. Switching gears this morning, attention all educators. There's an upcoming educational summit at Washington State University, Tri-Cities. The university is hosting their 9th educational summit that offers the opportunity for educators to earn up to 6 clock hours with STEM and equity options. The summit will help teachers elevate their skills and include sessions on community, culture, and STEM. This year's summit will feature keynote speaker, Oregon State Teacher of the Year, Rosa Floyd. Leaders from WSU say they want to create community, engagement, and collaboration.
It's all about authentic learning, and everybody is so open to learning about new perspectives about how things are done in practice. Teaching and learning is an art and a science, so you have to be able to learn from other people, and this is just a really collaborative environment where the networking in between the sessions. During lunchtime, you'll see everybody sitting around visiting, making connections.
Now, the summit will be on October 11th. Registration is now open with a fee of $15, which includes lunch. For more information on the summit, you can visit our website, KEPRTV.com. A local World War II veteran is celebrating his 100th birthday. KEMA's John Franklin was at the big celebration and introduces us to Clyde Edgar Nichols.
He's just a young sprout. Well, can't tell much difference between
Clyde served as a private first class for the 106th Infantry in World War II and was taken as a prisoner of war by German troops during the Battle of the Bulge.
Woke up one morning and they heard this noise. The noise they heard were German tanks. And the German tanks were just right across a little gully from where they were dug in with foxholes.
The Yakima American Legion came to perform a ceremony for his centennial birthday.
It's kind of a great honor for us to be able to do that. We have a table setting up here at the American Legion right to my left here that you can see. We honor them all the time, but I've actually never met a World War II POW before. So it was an honor to do that for him.
One thing Clyde loves to do is fish.
His wife took him to the Foot Locker in the old mall to get some new tennis shoes, and the gentleman waiting on him asked him, he said, I really want to help you. He says, you're going to use these mostly for running or mostly for walking? And he says, mostly fishing.
There is no limit on Clyde's love for fishing. It even comes in for his life advice.
If you have a lot of work to do, go fishing instead.
KEMA's John Franklin, thank you. And we've also learned that yesterday was the first time the Color Guard performed a ceremony for a living veteran for his birthday. They usually honor people at funerals. And finally, there's a new mural in downtown Pasco that has everyone talking. It's on the wall of Cafe Con Art, a coffee shop. It was created by Mexican-inspired artist Mario de Leon from Portland, who travels to Pasco often for family. It took him 5 days to complete the project, and he told us the mural reflects the city's culture and agriculture with the details of a woman overlooking the city and traditional embroidery patterns.
Flavor, it's vibrancy, and I think that could translate to anyone. We don't just have, the Mexican culture here, but we have an influx of a lot of people from other people from El Salvador. We have people from, South America. We have people from, Ukraine and Russia, and it's just capturing one's essence is, I think, very stunning and beautiful, and I think anyone can relate to this mural.
And if you'd like to see the mural, Cafe Con Arte is open from Tuesday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's also on the outside wall, so you can drive by and take it all in. Thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more information on local news and weather, you can head over to our websites. That's Keeper and KIMATV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a whimsical Wednesday, everybody.